I'm gonna go grab a coffee and then we'll start streaming proper. I've returned. Give me a minute or so and we will start. Blah, blah, blah. I want a different song. Oh, let's put the Art Court theme on. That's a sensible idea because people are going to be spending lots of time in Art Corp today. Bear with me 1 minute. Right. I think I'm ready. I appreciate the additional watching of people trying out the stream for the first time. I say trying out the stream. I mean, just turn up and say hello, eh? Let's do this. My beautiful face. Alright. Let's do this button. Ha! Perfect. Hello. Hope everyone's doing well. I know I'm streaming at effectively what is a weird time for me, but I wanted to stream, have a bit of a chat, and see what people are thinking. Talk a bit about Fleet Week and 3.23.1, which is live. Fleet Week will be live in like 1 hour 15 minutes. No. At 4 p.m. UTC. So is that in 15 minutes? Uh, 4 p.m. UTC. No, that'll be 5 p.m. here. Yeah, it'll be 5 p.m. here. So it's in 2 hours 15 minutes. I think. I know what I can do. I can just look on the page. Yeah. Desktop. 2 hours 15 minutes. Perfect. That'll tell us. Yeah, so it'll be 4 p.m. UTC, which is 5 p.m. my local time. So, Invictus Fleet Week. It's really a couple of weeks. We've got all these different manufacturers. We've got today and tomorrow, we're going to have RSI, Origin, Consolidated Outland, and Argo. Now, joys of that are that the RSI Polaris is going to be featured. It's flying around with the UE Navy. It's going to be on the show floor as well. It's pretty cool. No interior yet, not ready for player consumption, but it is sort of in-game in the same way that the Idris sort of used to be in-game. In that way. Idris is in the game in that way, but it's got a bit more to it now. We'll talk about that as well in a second. Anything else that's coming out today? Well, you're also going to have the Argo T1. So the Argo MPV T1, which is a little tractor beam cargo picker-upper version of the MPV. And the Medical Ursa will also be out today. So, Medical Ursa, they sort of gold standard the Ursa now, or at least Medical Ursa's gold standard. It's got a med bed in the back. It's got a couple of laser Gatlings on top. Pretty cool vehicle to bring with you, because now, since 3.23.1 existed, all medical beds respawn. Tier 3s respawn at 20 kilometers, which is what the distance of normal med beds, Tier 2 med beds used to be. And Tier 2 med beds now have 50 kilometer respawn range. Tier 1s aren't in the game yet. Expect this to evolve somewhat, and there to be restrictions on exactly how they work. But it's a big change. It's a big thing. So, and obviously on those days you'll have any sort of combat, logistics, and support vehicle also be available to buy on the RSI website, but to be available to see at the expo hall from those manufacturers. And then on the 19th and 20th, we've got Misk, Crusader, Tumbril, and Mirai. Now, what do we have here? So we're going to have the... anything special that we're expecting on this day? I don't think there is. Nothing special new there. On Aegis Day, we're expecting the Firebird, which is the Saber Raven sort of sister ship. When do I foresee the Polaris being float ready? Ottoman. By the end of the year, probably at CitizenCon. Yeah, so that's the issue, right, with tier 3 beds allowing you to respawn. So the beds still only address the wound set that they're applicable to. So tier 3 beds will only heal tier 3 wounds, and tier 2s will be 2s and 3s. So you're like, well, there is a way around that. You just force respawn yourself next to a bed that you've set your regen point to, and you'll respawn on that bed fully healed. Now, things that CIG will probably do ASAP is they'll go, yeah, you can do that, but you'll still have any injuries that you had previously, because we've only got like a very weak or a bad version of the DNA respawner here or whatever, right? There'll be loads of other stuff. There'll be loads of other restrictions with this in the future, like amount of times you can do it, when you can do it, stuff like that. Maybe you need to have DNA gel or something, yeah, some sort of quite valuable resource on board that it depletes as it respawns people, things like that. So yeah, at the moment, people just go, I've got a head injury. Respawn next to the bed. When do you think we will get refinery ship gameplay? So, is it essential to have in the game ASAP? No. It's essential to have it as part of crafting in the economy, though. And I do think they are moving forward with that a little this year, though I think next year is going to be the year of the sort of dynamic economy and crafting. So, let me turn down the music a little bit. So bear that in mind. That's my thoughts on that dynamic economy and that sort of stuff next year. Do with that what you think, what you will. Feel free to ask any questions you want during the live stream. Robert Johnston, thank you so much. I just clicked on the things on the YouTube stuff because I'm a dum-dum. Thank you very much. You are a beautiful boy. Thank you very much. Chris, did you forget you wanted death to have teeth? Oh, sorry, I read that in a really weird way. Yeah, so it's only a short-term thing, right? So they basically said they wanted to have the respawns allowing people to get back in the game quicker during alpha and during at the moment. So expect mortality to be a huge thing and that to drive what you do. Also expect that Clan and PM to be balancing a bit of action with that and trying to work out what is a good, sensible way of doing this sort of stuff. Because I'm fine with org battles and a little bit of planet siding where you have like you've got to work out where people's respawn vehicles are. You have huge restrictions to them. They can't constantly just respawn people. And obviously, you spawn with pretty much nothing. So there's that as well. So I think deaths is going to have teeth. I think Death of the Spaceman is going to be a big thing. Totally get the concern about it at the moment, though. And there's a lot of weird juxtaposition with CIG, right? Where they go, we're trying to move towards the final goal for this. And then sometimes they go, in the meantime, we'll have it so all medbeds respawn everyone. And you can just force respawn to get back in there. Cool for testing. Not cool for final intention, right? Although I do think that they'll be looking at some of the stuff they can do. And thank you very much for those 5 gifted BoredGamer memberships. Robert Johnston, that is genuinely appreciated. That really helps support the channel, the join button, gifting, memberships, that sort of stuff. Very big support of the channel, and you're a beautiful boy. Thank you. You can tell me to go F myself anytime you want. I hope everyone is looking forward to Fleet Week. It's going to start in about a couple of hours. And yeah, today we're expecting the Polaris to be flying around with the UE fleet. We're expecting it to be on the show floor. We're expecting... Do people think it's going to be going up in price? The Polaris? Strong possibility, right? It's a strong possibility. Going back to what I was saying about Fleet Week, on 21st, 22nd on Aegis Day, lots of Aegis ships, which is why that's the only manufacturer on the floor. Also, Idris and Javelins on sale. Bear that in mind. People very keen to get those. And then 23rd, 24th, you've got Anvil Aerospace. Again, lots of combat ships there, lots of military ships. And then on the 25th and 26th, in a slightly different location. So it's still at Area 18, but it's at the spaceport. You've got Drake Defense Con. And you can rent all of the previous days' ships and vehicles, potentially just straight up at Defense Con, but definitely on the 27th to 29th during the finale. I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. I really like the look of the Aegis Firebird. I really like the look of it. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Very cool looking ship. Have no interest in it whatsoever beyond looking at it and going, it's cool. Missile fighters, not hugely my cup of tea. I want something with just a load of traditional stamina weapons. So something like an F8 or something like that. Just goes, there's a bit of a brawler and can just fight for ages. It's got like you can have just a huge laser sort of set up and can fight for yonks. That's the sort of thing I like for a fighter. And I've already got a Saber Raven, which I actually feel is superior because I like the EMPs on it. Do you think it might be a possible solution to balance respawn by making it consume some sort of resource? Yeah, some sort of medical juice. Yeah, someone said to me the other day. But yes, totally agree. Yeah, so some sort of valuable resource that needs to either be replaced or bought, whatever, or both. Respond to medical beacons and that sort of stuff. Do you know what? I think that you should be able to harvest some of that DNA juice out of bodies. Because that will give you a reason to let people respawn on your ship, but also go to the site of a wreck or whatever to do search and rescue. Because you're rescuing their bodies and you're getting more of your medical juice back. Yeah, but lots of other reasons potentially do that. I like that as a gameplay loop. CIG, I only charge 0.25% for my ideas from the money you make out of it. Yeah. Do you think I'll have to update the game when Fleet Week starts, or can I sit in game? You should be able to just sit in game now. 3.20, 3.1. If you've got 3.20, 3.1 on the live build, updated, fully updated now, you should be able to sit in game and go straight into the elevators. That's got all the contents of Fleet Week there, as far as I'm aware. It's possible that you might need to update. Something might have changed or happened, but I do not believe you have to. Where at Area 18 do we get to see the ships? At the Bevic Convention Centre, it is clearly signposted. It will start at 4 PM UTC, so in a couple of hours. Do you think next Thursday, on Anvil Day, they'll show the F7A on Inside Star Citizen and Mark II variants? Yes, and they'll be available to rent during the expo. You may be able to rent the F7A Mark II. You may be able to rent the F7A Mark I this time, because they're in game, they're flyable. Will they sell them? Will they sell the F7As this time around? It is possible. It is possible. And I haven't heard anything about F7 Mark II versions of the Ghost and Tracker yet. No word on the Apollo. Clan Imperium will be almost certainly talking about it later today, because there's a Q&A all about ships. I'm hoping to see it by the end of the year or early next year. I do think there's obviously a huge amount of push to get the Apollo in game. We do know they're working on a load of RSI ships. RSI, it's the RSI Apollo, right? RSI, yeah. They're working on loads of RSI ships at the moment, so it makes sense that they'll try and push it out for later this year. But they didn't show it during CitizenCon last year as one of the ships they were working on. I don't think they did anyway. But I'm expecting it either end of this year or early next year. It just makes sense. When is Line of Defense coming out? So isn't that Derek Smark's game? Oh no. Gotta hold the line. That's all I know. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. I appreciate the $5 for that. That's a man that I haven't thought about him many moons. I like the fact he's basically just gone, no point in constant in talking about or trolling or whatever he was doing with the Star Citizen anymore. I'm glad everyone seems to have moved on from that for the most part. I do appreciate all the kind words. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is getting ready to sort of enjoy Fleet Week. Everyone will be given during Fleet Week will be given a Avenger Titan, because it's free flight as well, so everyone can try Star Citizen for free. I know a lot of people want the Polaris, but you'll be able to see it in game in some of its glory today, and get to tour the internals of Anitris properly. I say properly, explore to your heart's content. I think it's the full thing you get to walk around in. Might be a couple of areas locked off, I suppose, because they go, well, technically you're not allowed to go into anywhere where there's lots of... You might not be able to get into the armory, you might not be able to get onto the bridge, but hopefully you will. Do you think we know all the new ships coming? Or is there's a chance there's still a secret, and there's a chance there's things like the F7A actually being on sale. The Zaza, yeah, there's always a chance for stuff like that. G12 again. I've got no info on the G12 at the moment. It's not been appearing in the sort of monthly reports recently, anyway. Can I get your honest opinion on the Firebird? I love the way it looks. It has no use in my fleet whatsoever. Not a huge fan of its change to being a missile fighter. I understand that they want loads of missile fighters in game because they want NPCs to use them. They also went, there's a really cool chassis that we can use of the Raven, but we're not allowed to actively... I don't think they're actively allowed to sell the Raven because it's a promo ship for Intel, but they're allowed to make something very similar, and they've done that with the Firebird. If it had been a pure stealth fighter and they'd given it more sort of conventional weapons rather than missiles, I'd have been like, cool, yeah, I'm into this. I say maybe you'll be able to change its loadout somewhat, but I think it's got an integrated missile belly. But I'm more interested in the Saber Raven, which is obviously at gold standard now, and I have a couple, so I'm happy with that. Any thoughts on the Retaliator Bomber CCE mess that CIG have just created? So, not really at the moment. This is a ship that they sold different variants of effectively, but also is modular between those variants. It's 3.20, 3.1 technically has the Retaliators, the variants in it, but I don't think it has the ability to modularly change the bits over. So it's gold standard. I might be wrong. Maybe it does have the ability to also modularly change the bays out. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, it's expect them to try and address that during Fleet Week. They're going to sort of try and truncate and compress and streamline what packages are available. Do you know if they're working on a fix for cargo grids? I thought they were fixed for 3.23.1, unless you're talking about a specific ship. Character modules. Now, with modularity entering the fray, do you think CIG will showcase them or focus on ships like the Galaxy next? Don't know on the specifics of what ships will get modularity when. Other than Retaliator getting the torpedo and cargo, and I believe the no room modules. No module room. But obviously, it's quite possible the Galaxy will release with modularity. Obviously, the Caterpillar and Carrack seem to me to be ones that they'd want to get in quickly because they're quite popular ships. Find it funny that the Firebird is the missile fighter. Meanwhile, there's light fighters with double missile loadout like the Talon Strike. Yeah, I mean, to me, the Firebird's a cool looking ship, and NPC is gonna make great use of it in the game. And it's probably going to have a load of other little bits and bobs going on with it, like it's really high tech stuff going on. But yeah, if you want a missile fighter, then maybe you want something like the Talon Strike. Yeah, just does seem better at that role, although. These ships are going to be balanced in interesting ways, right? I mean, it could have a really low profile, be pretty agile. Yeah, I get what you're throwing down with that. So I'm looking forward to, someone said I'm getting my fit ready. So EVE Online, my favourite thing to do was do ship fittings, more so than play the game. Quite genuinely, I want to mess around and customize ships and make loadouts for specific things as cheap as possible or as optimal as possible based on lots of things, based on my needs. Oh, absolutely love that. I could do it all day. Do it all day. And then flying around getting all the modules that I wanted. Oh, I love that stuff. I don't know why I like it quite so much, but I do. Thank you so much, War Queen Gaming. Thank you so much. I appreciate you using that join button under my videos to become a BoredGamer member. It really helps support the channel. You are awesome. Thank you very much for everyone else that does that, including people like Robert Johnston and all my other members, of which there are quite a few, a reasonable amount. I don't know. Mum and I was going to say mum and dad. I'll be played disrespectful, but yeah. Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciated. I forcibly maintain my father's subscription post-mortem. That'd be pretty dark. Do you think CIG is justified selling the Cat and the Carrack modules separately? It's confusing that there are ships sold with modules and ships promised to receive modules. So, I would like to see... They're going to sell them because it's marketing, right? I wish they sold them in a more sensible manner. Because I suppose the way I do it is like sell the base versions and say these modules are going to be available in game for you to buy, which is they are going to be available to you buy, and the base version is going to be available to you to buy. But CIG are going to want to sell these ship packages that go, look, you've got the Endeavour, and it's got these different setups that you can sort of get. Makes sense for marketing, right? Makes sense for their sales. Might not be the most consumer-friendly tactic, and it might be a bit confusing. I mean, ships that get received, ships that are getting promised modules are also, you're getting a promise that the ship's going to be eventually ready, right? Like the Man of Merchantman, like the Endeavour. Let them to include Ravens and their Battle Mage GPUs. Feel it would be a fitting add-on. Yeah, I'm totally with people on the Talon Strike just being better if you want a missile fighter. Yeah, Firebird for those of you that want to strike with less missiles. Thoughts on the Polaris? Really looking forward to it. Obviously, it's just going to be NPC flyable at the moment, and on the show floor and with the sort of UE fleet. But getting close to completion, you should see it in game by the end of the year, assumedly at CitizenCon. You hope CIG cleans up the process for account inheritance? Yes, so it's interesting because I think in the UK it's a lot easier. So in the UK and some countries you can transfer ownership of digital goods and accounts. You're like, as in, you are legally allowed to, and that's within your rights to be able to do that, and no one can stop you from doing it. Is what I'm trying to say. But in other countries, I think like in America, I think you can say no, that account is yours and only yours. And even if you transfer ownership to it, it's still the original owners technically. So I think there are some issues with account inheritance legally between countries and things. But hopefully that'll get sorted out for you. I'm sorry that people have to go through that. Obviously, Star Citizen's development is a very long time. It's been like 11 plus years now, and the world moves on, and people move on, and people die. Now that we have a beta Vulkan, how long to expect we have legit VR support? So wait until Vulkan is fully integrated, sort of polished. I'm hoping with 4.0 you have really good Vulkan integration. And then some of the CIG devs were saying that they would be looking at VR implementation and at least talking about it. Some would be working on the spare time doing it. So I'm going to be poking CIG about that after 4.0. But I think it's still fine to ask them about it now, right? I appreciate all the kind words. Thank you very much for watching all my content, or at least some of it. Do you think they will give us suit lockers with the cargo factor patch in 3.23.x? So you're going to be getting item banks, which kind of like are like suit lockers, right? Because you'll be able to get all of your FPS gear and items there. When are suit lockers? So, okay. The weapon lockers and sort of places where you can put your weapons and stuff, they all work at the moment. When are we going to have fully functional suit lockers in areas that we should have them? Probably pretty soon, actually, thinking about it. Maybe not part of 3.23.x patches or the 3.23 323 cycle, but maybe it's soon, right? At least it looks like it's soon. Hope for the Apollo drop this week. It's very unlikely. Later this year, probably. Later today, unlikely. I mean, it's possible. I mean, CIG could have done a sneaky one. Yeah, so I'm thinking that VR will work pretty well in Squadron 42. I'm not sure if I'd use it beyond a very occasional lol in actual Star Citizen. Well, suit lockers make sense, right? And functional suit lockers make sense to have ASAP. But I don't know how ready they are. When do you think we'll see another Siege of Orison event? Next month, maybe? Do you expect Squadron 42 or Star Citizen to be on Steam? I wouldn't rule it out. I'd suspect they'd still have to go through the Star Citizen launcher after you launched it on Steam. Launch the Star Citizen launcher. But it would make them a huge amount more money releasing it on Steam. Because they could just go, we'll release it on Steam. We'll have 3 different packages, 3 different sets of ships. And then encourage people to come to the website and look at other ships they could also buy. Do you think there's going to be a new concept sale? It is possible. In fact, it's probable that there's going to be a concept ship or vehicle on sale during Fleet Week that we are as yet unaware of. Also, the same for Alien Week in June. Do you think fire propagation is coming in 4.0? Yes, they've been working on fire and fire extinguishers. It's something that sort of they're tracking heat and that sort of stuff. I believe it's actually in the roadmap update that there's fire hazards there. Yes. Fire hazard for 4.0, implementing the fire hazard system which tracks fire and temperature on static and dynamic objects. For the initial release, fire will be set up on a few select vehicles. Yes, but on a few select vehicles. Propagation. I expect it will be the full fire system, just testing on a few vehicles. I've been thinking about writing some manufacturer-inspired commercial music. How do you think I could go about getting someone involved in collaborating to direct or do the video components? I don't know the Zaza. I don't know. I'm bad with music. So I know Chief Monkey grabs all the Star Citizen music and that sort of stuff. I'm not a musical sound person. Have you and Sin played the Engineering and Arena Commander yet? I have. Sin has not. She might have looked at it rather than played it. I think it's very cool. It's very basic at the moment, though. It needs a lot more to it. But it's good fun to do. It's fun when people try and board each other as well. But it's sort of expanding out multi-crew into some more of the fun I was expecting to have when flying around in a multi-crew ship. But it needs a lot more to it. It needs actual proper fires to break out and more damage and a load more depth to it. Proper physicalized components and spare components on board rather than just fuses. And tons of balance. Hope they'll never sell any military variants. So I'm hoping that they obviously do in-game. You'll be able to buy them in-game by getting your rep at certain levels or whatever, and then buying military components and them being pretty valuable. When Sandworm, so is it Layer 2 or Layer 3? Sandworm, when the Layer system comes in, it's gonna be a while. I would say the Sandworm is not a priority. where is cargo? If you're looking for the additional cargo updates that are coming for 3.23's cycle, expect it probably in June. That'll be things like the cargo elevators, persistent hangars, cargo missions, item banks. What's your favourite gameplay loop at the moment? Dynamic events are typically my favourite. So, things like Xeno Threat and Siege of Orison. Yeah. A lot of that stuff I enjoy, but I've done it so much. It's quite possible that Star Citizen, or at least Squadron 42, will be available on consoles at some point. They are working on a FPS swarm mode for Arena Commander, so for Star Marine. On a scale of 1 to Supernova, how excited are you for 4.0? I'm pretty excited. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 7.5 at the moment. Maybe 7. So it's a bit tempered. I'm waiting for it. Obviously, we've got Fleet Week and lots of other stuff happening at the moment. Robert Johnston, thank you so much. I'm off to bed now, working 6 hours. Oh, so keep the noise down, please, and board feck off. Genuinely appreciated, sir. Thank you so much. You beautiful man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate all your support. So, Fat Fury, expect it's possible something like that will be available during Alien Week. Fury's sort of Murray are a hybrid alien, right? So, Misc hybrid alien. What does server meshing version 1 entail? Expected to be static server meshing, linking Stanton and Pyro together with multiple servers all on the same shard. How many servers? Unknown. It could just be 2 servers, but it's more likely to be like 10 servers. So 5 in Stanton, 5 in Pyro, linked together, bam, that's one shard. And instead of joining server, you now join a shard, and all those servers are linked to that shard. And if you will be able to join your friends in the shard that they're in, but we won't have shard affinity, I don't think, in 4.8, although we might. We won't have much of a choice of what shard we join, beyond joining our friends or whatever. So you'll be quantum leaping into different persistences, if you see what I mean. How's your day going? Hope you enjoy Invictus Launch Week. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to take a break in a minute and chill out. I've had a headache for like 3 days. I'm very sensitive to getting headaches when it's very hot and there's like a storm. It's been very sort of like that. I'm here for a while. I'm gonna have a little rest, and then when Fleet Week launches, I'm gonna run around the expo hall, have a bit of a chat about what's there, and then look at the ships and vehicles that are available. Do a video for that. When do we get our multi-tool version of our big boy Grey Cat tools? I want the fat Pyro tool. So there are going to be other forms of salvage and multi-tool and things like that. I'm not sure exactly what and when we're getting yet. Because obviously there's like military versions of the multi-tool, which have a load of functions just sort of by default. There's obviously a lot of dedicated two-hand, larger versions of a lot of these tools, some of which are in-game already. Do you realise that your community appreciates all Ewan's in its hard work? We've been out in the dark there. There's loads of other content creators, but I appreciate that some people like the style that I have, which is low effort and just reporting on the news and sort of truncating it down somewhat. So appreciate it. Damn it, I should call him sick. And when's the expo starting? 1 hour 40 minutes. Sounds like they fixed the issue with people stopping being able to log in after they modified the hangar. Yes, they have. Have you tried back of neck relief exercise for headaches? So, I think it's tension based, but so I do chin tucks and things like that, or is that something else you're talking about, Mark? I can search for neck relief exercise. Oh, so that, yeah, I've done stuff like that before. Oh, that's quite painful. What else have we got here? Are the new consoles dotted around and marked closed for maintenance? Will that be for get access points? So that's the I assume the ones you're talking about are for the item banks. Yeah. So that's FPS items basically being able to be deposited and picked up there for the most part. Smaller and FPS items and gear and stuff. With personal hangars, how does that work with multiple citizens in the hangars at once? I'm confusing. So basically, personal hangars, when we get them, which is going to be at some point in the 3.23 cycle, you will go to an elevator, you'll basically press a button to go to your hangar at your home location, and it will take you to your hangar, which effectively it generates. It goes boop, it spawns it back in, then you can go there. No one else can go to that hangar until you spawn it in, but people can go there with you once you spawn it in, basically. So you will be able to use it as a staging post, but people won't be able to break in while you're not there. Is the game heading towards the player having big fleets with mission-specific ships or more multi-roles? Hard to tell. So, it's more It depends on the kind of player you are. I suppose it will suit players being able to do whatever they want. If you want to run a huge fleet, you will. You'll need people to fly in that fleet with you. You're not going to be able to run huge amounts of NPCs flying separate ships that you aren't in, as far as I'm aware. Will the Apollo be able to fit an Ursa Rescue? I don't know. You are really keen for the Apollo, aren't they? Don't know what they could do, sort of concept ship wise, but I would expect a concept ship. Just makes sense for them to sell something, right? Something combat-y, makes them lots of money. Have you got a link for best optimizing for Star Citizen? Not at the moment, no, because it's going to be relatively dependent on you sort of testing and messing around. So I really like running DLSS at the moment. I wouldn't use Vulkan, and then fiddling around the graphic settings. You can get the DLSS at the moment. I think is pretty good. You can get really good results from that. Just making sure you've got the sort of latest Windows updates and graphics card, GPU drivers and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to run that Star Citizen sort of tweaks page, but it's a long time ago. Do you expect us to be able to build ship dry docks big enough to be able to handle the Kraken, Idris, and Javelin? So I expect you to be able to build ships, be able to craft or fabricate ships, or parts of ships that you can then put together for ships. I expect there will be docks, dry docks, and specialist docks big enough for the Kraken, Idris, and Javelin. Can you build them? I don't. In the far future, yes, almost certainly they'll go. Yeah, you can build space stations, you can build giant docks. I would expect that, but I do not expect it in the initial release of the game or soon after. But yeah, you will be able to go to specialist docks and that sort of stuff to switch over those large components. Capital size components aren't going to be able to be done by players, I don't think. You are going to need specialist facilities, probably. So yeah, I'm I'm hoping they do release a concept ship now because I quite like new ships. I'm a bit of a monster, but I like the fact that CIG are releasing tons of straight to flyable ships. They're going let's get these ships straight to flyable, or let's get these ships actually in game. So that is a huge amount of that compared to concept ships now, right? I think that's pretty useful. Invictus starts at 4 p.m. UTC, which is about an hour and a half. And it'll be soon out of 4.0 drops while I'm at CitizenCon. So it's possible that it might, right? So the target for 4.0 at the moment is end of September, end of Q3. But we often know that they like to release patch at CitizenCon. It's possible that a 4.0.1 patch will drop at CitizenCon, though, if they've already got 4.0 out. I do think CitizenCon this year is going to be more focused on Squadron 42, or at least a big focus on Squadron 42. But it is, again, possible that they'll release 4.0 at CitizenCon. Lots of cool stuff being mentioned in the monthly report for 4.0. They got all those Pyro planets and moons. So 6 moons for Pyro 6. Or for Pyro 5, in fact. And then 6 planets of Pyro, although technically Pyro 4 is sort of a moon of Pyro 5. Not sure if we're getting Ruin Station to start with. Thank you very much. Extreme Terror, genuinely appreciated. Thank you. Appreciate the sub. I got server meshing version 1, which is going to be the first version of static server meshing, multiple servers in each star system for each shard. You got the load of systems being refactored for server meshing. Space stations around Pyro, but no mention specifically Ruin Station, which is the sort of hero location there. Got the colonialism outposts, which we've seen a few times before. Obviously, jump point between Stanton and Pyro, and that Stanton Pyro jump point location actually being physically used, and vice versa. Anyone that's played in the Pyro playground sort of knows how some of this might work. There's obviously the server meshing tests as well. You've got the solar burst, which is the big dangerous solar flares that happen every so often. Just be underground or in a facility or hiding somewhere because they're dangerous. Life support systems, awesome. This is actually going to be generating oxygen, obviously, and it's part of engineering, which is also in. So I think that's a big thing. Charge and drain, so you can sort of remove distortion damage and overpower objects and power them just with a multi-tool and stuff like that. So again, great for engineering and repair. Got a load of multi-tool updates that are going to be added, including batteries, I believe. And then you've got fire hazards and fire extinguishers. Got updates to the MFDs and sort of like the ship experience. Going to be more hairstyles, potentially more faces, piercings, things like that as well. And the Zeus Mark II ES has been mentioned as well. So all that stuff for 4.0. Expect to load more. Some of that stuff might get moved off. Like blast shield protecting from solar flares, maybe. Yeah, if we can push a button for it to come up, that would be great. Hello, it's Cole. Thank you for joining. I'm going to be stopping relatively soon, but yes, really looking forward to Fleet Week. I don't have to wait much longer; it's an hour and a half away, so that's pretty exciting. Do you think the out of beta build for Star Citizen will be 5.0? I think out of beta build, out of alpha will be potentially towards the end of the 4.0 cycle. They'll say that, we consider this sort of beta now. I can imagine that. Because I think that they're trying to push for Star Citizen version 1.0 in by mid 2026. That's my current over ambitious, over hyped. That's the wrong sort of thing. Optimistic goal. Let's say that. Try not to hype that too much. That's genuinely what I think is a possibility. Just hope Squadron 42 comes out this year. So it'll be. So they'll announce a release date for it at CitizenCon, almost certainly. I think it will actually be ready at CitizenCon as well. That'd be my thoughts on that. A recommendation for some kind of explorer/fighter with a tiny bit of cargo. Avenger Titan. Nice, cheap, and does the job you've asked for. Depends on how much explore you want to do. Because then you could be talking about the Zeus Mark II ES, things like that as well, or a 400i. What kind of bugs have you hit with 3.23? I don't see a lot of YouTubers talk about the experience apart from all the cool new features. Not much in the way of problems with 3.23 for Xenonite at the moment. So obviously I've been with Star Citizen or covering Star Citizen for ages. This is the least buggy build I've ever been in. It moved very quickly to 3.23.1. It's desync and the desync sort of issues that I last experienced, which were annoying. Like that was like unplayable. Couldn't do missions. And I tried to log in, but I logged in later and it was fine. Haven't been playing any D&D. I sort of quit my D&D group. I'm going tomorrow to go and play some board games with I assume the same guys. 3D printing has been taking a bit of a pause as well. Well, it's not. I've been doing a bit less of it just because I'm moving in about a month, sort of getting ready to move. Ramos. Happy Invictus launch week, everyone. Yes, thank you very much for using that join button. 26 months. You've been a board gamer boy. Genuinely appreciated, sir. Thank you. Will I be able to create custom map markers in the middle of space? Yes, but not yet. So at the moment, you can only do that for yourself in the mini map. In local map, not in space map. But yes, eventually you'll be able to create them in space, and you'll be able to share that with other people and sell it to other people, or just keep it for yourself. Personally, find Death of a Spaceman cycle super motivation killing. What do you think might be a better system to speed up what is a very punishing current reality? I think at the moment with Death of Spaceman and all that sort of stuff, it's really hard to tell what the final goal will look like at the moment, right? They're moving towards a lot of this stuff, and obviously we've got tier 3 beds now being able to respawn people. But I do want mortality to be a big part of the game. It's really hard to see what is going to be going on there. I just got logged out of the RSI launcher. That could indicate that there is an update. I do want Star Citizen to not be quite so unforgiving as Death of the Spaceman was originally supposed to be, but I do want it to be quite unforgiving. Greetings from France. So excited to see these UCES released in 4.0. I'd have liked to have been at Invictus. I think a lot of people would as well. Might be some surprises at Invictus, but might be like a concept ship more than anything else. We'll certainly see a lot of other stuff released for 4.0, lots of other ships. Will getting too close to stars destroy ships, or will there be something of an invisible wall? I think that you will start to take heat damage and you'll get warnings. I do think you will be able to fly towards a star, and eventually your ship will explode. That's my expectation. It's also possible that quantum travel will try and automatically avoid the dangers of a star. Will we be able to temporarily respawn in any bed? only medbeds at the moment. So it's tier 3 medbeds now also allow for respawning. And bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to let my cat in. Cat. I've put a little cat bed under my computer table by my feet. Constantly wants to just sort of be next to me. Gonna go on your back, on your basket. Was sitting on my footrest. Little dog basket on. Like it. Moment she's just. Oh, you make. Oh, hello. Right, yeah. Yeah, you're just in the most awkward position, aren't you, cat? But I love her. Do you expect a planet that is almost entirely a no-fly zone to give us ground vehicle world in a sense? So there is going to be hazards and defenses and dense canopies of trees and stuff that will make ship flight over an area or getting to a mission or getting to a location impossible, near impossible, very dangerous, and that you will want to use vehicles and that sort of stuff. 100%. I mean, some of that stuff, they encourage ships, vehicles to be used in some areas now. So, like, turrets take a long time or don't lock on to ground vehicles so much. Stuff like that, right? Is the med bed of the Carrack working for respawn? Yes, it's tier 2 respawn, so it works within 50 kilometers now. Expanded its range. Do you think they are going to re-release the F7A Mark 1? Will it be account bound? So I know they're giving them to people that had the F7A Mark 1 skin from Veterans Day 2013. It's sort of a thing. I'm not sure if they're going to be selling it or anything else like that during Fleet Week. Obviously the Mark 2s as well, if they're going to be selling them. What do you look forward to most when it reaches? What ship do you look forward to most when it reaches players? Endeavour, Orion, etc. Oh, so there's loads. Obviously the Orion's cool. It's a big strip miner, but it's things like the Banner Merchantman, the Carrack, and the Endeavour. I mean, they're all big, right? So, and the Pioneer. So base building, big scale base building with the Pioneer and the Endeavour. So much science gameplay and farming and hospital ship and tons of stuff like that. Banner Merchantman, my dream of being a space trader with shops on board. Awesome. Yeah. There's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff there. I'd like to see an entire planet that's a no-fly zone. There almost certainly will be a few like that. Will we have an F8 Mark II? Maybe eventually, but at the moment, no. Just the standard F8. Oh, boring old F8. But there's obviously the F8C and the F8A. Do you think they will secretly finish the Polaris and it will launch today after all? Forever, hopefully. Well, I mean, it's available for NPCs to use, so it's effectively a mission ship. It just doesn't have an interior that's finished yet, as far as I'm aware. What about space crabs? The Pyro Cthulhian crabs and stuff will be in Pyro at some point. I don't think for 4.0 though. Right. I am going to take a break in a second and sort of chill out for a minute, get ready for Fleet Week. I'm going to be doing a video as Fleet Week goes live. I'm just around the expo hall, talk about what's there, and then talk about the ships that are available to purchase. I'll be doing that every other day, I suppose, when there's a new thing to see. My cat is directly under my feet. Why aren't you in your bed? It might be too hot for her. With the addition of the F7A, do you think they'll make the F8A available at some point? So you'll be able to buy these things in game at some point by getting like enough military reputation or something like that. We'll be able to get them in game somehow. So sort of bear that in mind. You like the idea of a medical terrapin? Actually, so do I. It makes sense that to be a medical ship, right? Be a military, high priority sort of medical ship almost. F7C to A upgrades went. It's a possibility. Right. Prepare yourselves. Download Alpha 3.23.1 now. Get that sort of sorted. And Fleet Week, it's going to be starting in an hour and 20 minutes. And I hope you are going to enjoy it. Get involved. Rent all the ships that you want. Star Citizen will be entirely free during that time as well. So get people to check it out. Make sure they sign up using a referral code. And feel free to use mine that's under my videos. Yeah. And thanks for watching. Bear with me 1 second. I will just go and see. We'll wrap up in a second. I'll see who else is streaming quick. The top of my head's gone. That's the sign that the stream's nearly at an end. Thank you very much for people that became BoredGamer members or clicked on the things and became a sub and all that jazz. That genuinely is helpful. Obviously, we make daily content and that helps make that all possible. Who else is streaming? I will send you over. Send you over to Beautiful Super Mac Brothers because I haven't sent people over to him for a little bit. He's a beautiful boy. Does very similar content to me, but also plays a lot on stream too. Pah, who needs to do that? Playing Star Citizen. Ooh, weird. That's right. He's a beautiful boy. I would say I'd raid Salty Mike, but I raided him last time. I don't want to show overly because he's Super Mac Brothers is one of my friends as well as Salty Mike. So, right. Something suspicious from Mirai. Well, there may be some form of fighter from them in the not too distant future. Maybe during Alien Week. I don't know. Soon. Right. Thank you so much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. Go give Super Mac Brothers some love. I hope you enjoy Fleet Week. Feel free to ask any questions you want in the comments below of this, because this will be a video on demand. But you can also get me on discord.gg/BoredGamer. And yeah, thanks for watching.